homeless in your own backyard, living beneath your privileges as a child of God. Kevin Hart Sr. The story of the prodigal son is a metaphor that Jesus uses to reinforce God's relationship with his children. When I talk about the story, I talk about God being the father, the prodigal son being us, the children. But I also cross-reference scripture that says that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. That means he owns everything. For me, the encouraging part is that no matter how far I strayed, I was still on my daddy's property. And just because I was his son, I was the heir. So I was homeless in my own backyard. So that was significant. And the importance for me is the relationship, how we cherish the relationships in our lives. My message shows what happens when you're not willing to invest the time, the energy into those type of relationships. You find yourself living beneath your privileges as the child of God, son of God. But it also encourages you that no matter how far you go, it doesn't change the relationship. The father is still the father, and you are still the child. Now, the struggle is getting back into a place where you can enjoy the relationship. And sometimes you don't understand while you're in the midst of the struggle. You don't understand while you're in the midst of the straying that this is going to work for your good in the end. And I think that that piece comes as you reflect back. That's why the book is written now and it was not written while I was going through, because the power is in the ability to remember some of the tight spots that you got out of, some of the things that should have destroyed you, but it didn't destroy you. And now you look at those things, and now the help in the story is just helping others avoid some of the pitfalls, some of the bad mistakes, some of the wrong turns that I made. But while I was in it, I couldn't really attach it to faith. Sometimes the indicators that there's greatness ahead of you is the attacks that are before you. My mom and my dad shared with me some of the challenges and struggles they had with me even before I was born. My mother, while she was pregnant with me and she was getting ready to deliver, my father was not at the hospital, but they said that they called my dad and told my dad that he needed to make a decision on which one of us he wanted them to save, because they were not going to be able to save both of us. And at that time, my father said, he was a man of faith. At that time, my father said, call me when my son and my wife are in the recovery room. And lo and behold, a few hours later, they called my dad and said, you can come up and see both your son and your wife.